everybody, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio. So I cleaned up a little bit. I had tons of cards to film and I've got all of them except 2 done. So I'm going to do the final 2 today, and instead of cleaning everything up, I just shoved it to the end of my table. So I am pre-recording because I'm going to be out of town the week that out of the country the week that this catalog goes live. So my intent is for this to post on Monday, and assuming technology cooperates, and when I pre-schedule, I guess that's the word, the videos to go up, that they go up on the right day. This catalog will start on May 1st. Make sure you are on my email list, because today's email, so if you didn't get it, go to the blog because you can read it there too. I will make sure by today that you have all of my May specials. You can still get the last chance items that are on sale. So if there's anything, this is truly your last chance, because Wednesday we switched totally over. So if it's on the last chance list, Tuesday you can get it, and on Wednesday it's gone forever, unless it ever makes an appearance on the clearance corner. But that's a very minute fraction of our items that make it there. So if you need a catalog, let me know. I'd be happy to send you one when I am back home. I will be back in my office on May 6th, 7th, depending, when you get back from being out of town. Sometimes there's things that you have to do that you didn't know you have to do. So I'm hoping the 6th of May. My daughter will be manning. She's going to come over and she's going to bring all of my boxes of new stuff that I order and everything in. So she will be here, and then she's going to play with some of it, and she's going to use my studio and take care of the cats. So everything's not coming to a standstill. Just, I'm going to be on vacation. So today what I have to show you is Monday is the day that we will arrive in Mexico for the Stampin' Up! Incentive trip. So as part of Stampin' Up! Events, we make swaps. So for this one, it's an organized swap. It's organized by Stampin' Up! So you just make 26 things and you take them, and they divide them all up and they give them back to us. So it's not, if you've been to an event before where it's kind of mass pandemonium, it's not like that. We just give them to them and they give us back. And then there's display boards, so you get to see everybody's. So I went with Country Flowers, and there's a reason, because I love this piece of paper. I love the stamp set. The paper's over here. This, but when you're going to make 26 of something, and then 1 to film, 1 to keep, all of that, around 30 things, that takes a lot of paper, and we can't order a lot of paper until the catalog goes new. So I based my whole card kind of off of this, and that was my jumping off point. So I'm going to do Country Flowers. And then sometimes when we cut paper for classes, if you're in my class, you know that sometimes you get a 5.5 by 11 sheet of paper. And so sometimes we have stacks of this particular size left, because it's just the offcut, because when we're going to do a fun fold and we need the longer piece, instead of a half this way and being able to get 2, we get 1 card per sheet. And I can't throw all this paper away. So I had a nice little stack of white. I just pulled these over. There's still a stack of it. So if we cut a class for 100 people, I would have 100 of these. So I wanted to use them in some way. So I took this, and let's fold it in half. Sometimes it's easier to score when things are a different kind of shape, because they can press funny. But if you have your bone folder there, I was able to do all of mine. So I have this. Then let's use Memento. I kind of just went for colors that made me happy, because everybody going there has the new in colors, knows the new in colors. So about here with a little pot from the Country Flowers. And then I went with the Best Friend Ever, partly because this is an event where we have lots of friends there. So just down underneath here, and partly because of the design element, it just looks really good on this card. And then I thought about filling it just with the leaves, because then I could have just done beige and green, but I wanted some happy spring summer colored flowers. So this fits in here so perfectly. After you've done a bunch of them, you're like, oh, I'm a good stamper. And then, you think that, and then all of a sudden you hit one that's not perfect. But let me show you how it lines up. So see these 2 leaves right here? They go either side of the vase, and they just fit perfect in there. So that was all the stamping in the memento I did. And then I have a 1/4 sheet of beige. Again, we couldn't order a ton of it, so I couldn't have a traditional card base this size and put that as a panel, which would have been an option. But we all like a good fun fold, right? So let me take my basic beige. So if you're watching, there are 2 specials. So one is mine. It's kind of like, how do you want to get your new colors? So my special is if you purchase over my catalog kickoff week, I'm just stamping this little pattern that matches the paper. See, there's my inspiration. If you purchase your 5 in color pads for me over catalog kickoff week, I'm going to give you the basic beige for free. And I will have other specials as well. You can get a color coach download. You can get a tutorial download. You can get products sent to you. So I have a bunch of specials. And if you've missed catalog kickoff week, I still have other specials that continue on through the month of May. Then Stampin' Up! Has a special, so you can join my team. And then you get all the in colors. You don't get beige, but you get all the in colors free. You get some paper free. I think you get markers free. You get a lot free. Maybe like $85 of stuff free. I'm not giving you $85 of stuff free because it comes out of my pocket. So you can kind of pick which way you want to get your new colors. I have tons of team perks, and at this point, it's not there yet. But by the time this video goes up, you can go over to my blog, and I will have all of my team perks, or at least most of them. So obviously, I do most of my stuff online. If you are in Indiana, we do occasional things in Indianapolis. We do have an in-person event coming up later in the month of May. So I'm going to color this in with my Wink of Stella. So if you watched one of my other videos, I don't know when I said it, another time I was doing this, I colored all of these in while the Pacers played in their playoff game. I'm not going to do the whole thing, so beige, because I have a whole stack of these, and I'll finish this one in a minute. Their first playoff game. The second one was amazing. I was riveted to the television. In the first game, not so much. So what went from being a kind of quirky color in my mind, I was just going to kind of add a little splash of color, went to some pretty intense coloring. So I've got lots of shading going on. This is the new Peach Pie. So for it, I went through and I gave one brush. This is where the Pacer thing came into it, because this was kind of how I intended for it to be. And then the game, I couldn't stop watching them. You know, I sometimes, especially when you've had kids in sports, I felt like I owed it to them to stay tuned. And my daughter and her husband had come for dinner to watch the game with us, but I just couldn't look. So I did them all my quick way, and then the game was only half over. So then I went back and added all of the lovely shading. So you can see I did a darker out, and then kind of halfway through the petal, I did another brush, and then we're going to take this right up just close to the inside. So they're getting much more shaded flowers than I intended for them to get. So that was the Peach Pie. And then I did Lemon Lolly. I don't have scrap paper laying here. So here's my big secret. I always use scrap paper when I know I'm going to stick something on top of it. So the Lemon Lolly, I did same thing. My first brush through on all of these flowers was just like this. And I thought, you know, it's kind of graphic design. It's bright. It fills in the white. It's a very bright interior card. But then I had time that I didn't want to look at the TV. So then I went back, and on all of these, I filled in like 2 of the petals. So they were just a little bit darker. It had a little bit more shading. And now for the leaves, let's do Lemon Lime Twist. Again, it's a bright color. The first time through, I did a swash like that of green. These are small, so you really don't notice that I did another coat, but I just kind of went in like that. And just gave them on the larger leaves, just a little bit more of a brush of color. So let's use this up on those, because now we're going to switch to some pinks. So the next one was Flirty Flamingo. This is a color, I pull it out every spring and summer, and then I just kind of don't use it at all until it's this time of year again. But it is a fun, happy, bright color. I love it. It's a shade of coral, it goes really well with the peach pie. It goes well with Cajun Craze. So this one was one where you really noticed, because the first time it was kind of like this. When it was all said and done, I was happy that I had gone back in and done another coat of them. Because that is pretty, right? And they all dried like that. And then I had the whole stack of them dry. And so then I just went back and kind of every other flower, or every other petal, all these down at the bottom, and then just some up here. Again, I did what I did on the orange flower, and I just added so the tips were a little bit darker. And that does so much for the shading on that. And then I used this for the flower centers. And then the final color was Petunia Pop, which is one of the new in colors. And so for this one, I did this right here. It has like a double flower. So do this one here at full strength, and by this time it's kind of coming off here. Now when I did these, I did all the Petunia Pops on all 26 cards. And then I did all of the Lemon Lime Twists on all 26 cards. That way you're not constantly cleaning your Wink of Stella. So it looked like that, but then on the second time through, I just went back and I got these. And it really made that pop. I also put another little pop of the flamingo in the flower centers that kind of brightened those up. So that was how I colored them in. And that left us with this. I did the same thing. These had that fast first coat, and you can see the second coat. They all look a little bit different, but they're all so pretty. Like, they're just fun to look at because they're bright and cheery. See how much better that looks with all of the different shading? So I have this stack of them. So then in the next step, where I'm at now, I have these done and I have these painted. But let's do the next part. So there is a folder, this part of the suite. It's the eyelet folder. I'm going to bring my cut and emboss over here so you can see how to do this. You have to use the big one because it's a larger folder. So I'm going to stick this in here. Grab your design, because I don't want, obviously I don't want the whole thing. So you lay it in here. I'm going to go just up to the best friend ever. So it just goes underneath that, just like that. So you can see it's sandwiched in there. You always have to put these through your cut and emboss machine with the fold first. So we're going to put this in here, and then I am going to roll it until I hear it kind of go through. And we'll go back again. You can just go once. I wasn't sure if I had it. And then it does that much of it. So it's really pretty. And you know, when you're giving cards to other demonstrators, you want them to have a little twist of, oh, that's clever, or that's different. And then ribbon, again, you could use any of the new colors if you're doing this. If I was going to use a new ribbon, I would have colored it in this green and used this ribbon. But again, I don't have very much of this ribbon, and what I do have is getting cut before we leave for my triad class. So I needed all of that. So I went with, this has been an online exclusive, but is now in the annual catalog. So it comes in gold and silver, and I had enough of it without having to order, because you know, if you're not ahead of the game, like I often am not when it comes to making my swaps, I didn't really have, well, I could have ordered, I would have had to pay expedited shipping, and I just didn't want to pay that much shipping for swaps. And I really like the way that this gold kind of brightens this up. So on the first one, which is just kind of my mock-up. I tied a bow, and then afterwards I thought, I'm not tying 26 bows when a knot looks just as pretty. Stick this on here. See, I always joke, you never know when you get a card from me if it's got scrap paper underneath it. So then just line this up right at the top, right at the bottom. And then I took, partly because I'm afraid by the time I make them, I do all the stuff with swaps, a bright white card has a chance of getting smudges on it. So just in case it does, I'm going to take my black blend, and I'm not going to put much, but just that much of little splatters. So can you see those? It just kind of helps if there's any smudges, you wouldn't notice as much. It kind of fills in that white space. And then again, for an embellishment, I needed to choose something that I had a lot of and that was continuing on from the catalog, because my brand new ones are getting cut and put in their tray. Most of them are already cut. Embellishments and die cuts are mostly done. The paper's all cut for the cards that we have. And then I have to wait until I can order everything on May 1st, just like you guys. So you can see that these are gold, and then they have pinks and greens. They match this card perfectly. So I did do 5, because there's nothing that makes me happier than filling a card with embellishments. So let's do 2 big ones down there, and then stagger up the small. So when I finish them all, I will take one massive picture and I will put that on my blog for you to go see. You want to see the mock-up? So I always start with a card. Here's the one I did at first. I added the words. I shoved the whole thing up a little bit because I felt this was too far down and I wanted to see more of this because this is fun. It's still enough, and you could put words at the top, but this was kind of just my mock-up. On this one I did flamingo, which I didn't like the flamingo, and then I tried, maybe I did use black. I thought I did green, but it looks kind of black. So I liked this one more little pop of black on here, and I liked the way that that line just fit perfect with the half embossed. So there you go. If you would like to join my team and be on a trip in the future, I would love to help you do that. Next year we will be going to the Grand Floridian in Florida, so I have already earned that one. So in my head, I'm already sometimes at the Grand Floridian. We love Disney, and we usually stay at the campgrounds in a cabin, which are fabulous, or Animal Kingdom Lodge is my very favorite. So because we feel like that's kind of an extravagant stay, but the Grand Floridian's just gonna spoil us forever. Hopefully we'll be able to go back to the campground after we stay at the Grand Floridian. Everybody have a great day. If you email me, I will get back to you on May 6th or 7th. Have a great one. Bye.